Hello, this is Leocolt from Hitpost Reviews, and today I'm going to show you my PS3 collection. I've had my PS3 for almost 10 years now, and in that time I've gathered more than 300 games, so I'll be dividing my collection in 3 videos, or else you'll probably fall asleep. Before I start, I want to apologize for my terrible accent, but English isn't my native language, so please bear with me. Anyway, let's start the first video with 007 Legends. This is a pretty mediocre FPS shooter. If you like the James Bond movies though, you might actually enjoy it. Pretty Dot Game Heroes. This is a very retro style game. It's pretty much like those old Zelda games but with a 3D engine. Ace Combat Assault Horizon. This is obviously another flight game from the Ace Combat series. This was a pretty flashy game, very intense and fun, but not so hardcore. Africa. This is a Japanese import because this game never came out in Europe. In any case, this is just a video game about picturing animals. Afro Samurai, a hack and slash game. Not many people know about this game, but it's pretty fun. The sequel turned out to be pretty much a buggy mess. Agres 2, Generations of War. This is a strategy RPG. This has some interesting mechanics and plenty of fan service as well, as you can see from all the ladies back there. Air Conflicts, Pacific Carriers. This is a mediocre to bad flight game. This was pretty buggy and graphics aren't that great. The move controls, however, are pretty much spot on. Akiba Strip, Undead and Undressed. This is a action RPG, also very Japanese. In this game there's some vampires that you have to undress so the sunlight kills them. Sounds pretty crazy. And it is. Alice Madness Returns, a pretty overlooked 3D platformer. This plays pretty much like Ratchet and Clank but with a much darker tone. Alone in the Dark Inferno. This game had some very interesting and original ideas, but the execution was so terrible that it's almost impossible to play. I hated the controls in this game. Alpha Protocol, another RPG. In this one you're obviously a spy. This is also a very flawed game. But if the spy flicks interest you, you might want to try it out. Anarchy Reigns. This is a 3D brawler. As you can see, it has the protagonist from Mad World, but the game is nothing like it. This was very multiplayer focused. The designs of the characters are pretty interesting. Another Century, Episode R. This is another Japanese import. This is a game about, fighting robots. It's not the greatest, but it's pretty fun. Apache Air Assault. This is another flight game, but in this case you're obviously controlling an helicopter. This is a pretty hard game, but even then it's pretty fun. Ape Escape, the infamous move game. I really liked Ape Escape, and I also really enjoy on-rail shooters, but the two combined didn't turn out to be that good. Graphics are very colorful though. Aquapaza. This is a 2D fighting game. Very Japanese, very colorful characters. These two come in pairs. Armored Core for Answer and Armored Core Verdict Day. These are also mech games. There's a heavy emphasis on building those mechs with lots of parts and such. Armored Core for Answer is my go-to game since it's more single player focused, which I enjoy the most. Army of Two, the 40th Day. This is a third-person shooter, very fun in co-op, but if you're playing single player, the campaign is pretty interesting as well. It's better when you play in co-op though. Artonel Kokoga, Knell of Our Seal or something like that. This is another Japanese RPG. The game is pretty mediocre. The graphics in this game are pretty bad. That being said, the music is very good. Another two games, Assassin's Creed 2, and then this pack which has Assassin's Creed, The Origin of the New World, the American Saga, which includes Assassin's Creed 3, Black Flag and Liberation HD. There's no much explaining to do since everyone knows Assassin's Creed. Asura's Wrath, a very anime game, a very intense and engaging game, but not for everyone because of its heavy usage of QTEs. But it was very fun. Another pair of games, Atelier Rorona Plus and Atelier SKN Logi, which are guest RPGs. They are very cute, the art style is very cute, but they're more laid-back games. They're not so much about saving the world or anything, they are more light-hearted. And with those two, the pile is over. The second pile of games starts with The Awakened Fate Ultimatum, another Japanese RPG. This has some roguelike elements. The funny part in this purchase was that I wasn't really trying to buy this game, but the game that came before this. This is a sequel to another game, and when I bought this game I thought I was buying that game instead. Silly me. Baja, Edge of Control. This is an off-road racer. This is a very old game and the graphics and the frame rate are awful. That being said, it's quite deep in its mechanics and I actually enjoy it. These don't come in pairs, but in three. Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, and Batman Arkham Origins. These are both great games. Some people didn't like the third one as much, because it wasn't made by Rocksteady. I really think the three of them are really great games. The three of them. The next is Battle Fantasia. This is a very cute fighting game. The art style in this game is great. There's also a very meaty story mode for each character, but the fighting mechanics are just okay. Battlefield Bad Company and also Battlefield 3. The Bad Company game had a very great campaign and Battlefield 3 had a really great multiplayer. But the single player campaign, which also usually interests me in Battlefield 3, it's really awful. So I really enjoy Bad Company more. And the next game on the list is Bayonetta. This is another Japanese hack and slash kind of game. When this game came out, the performance wasn't that good, but it was later patched. This is a very frantic game. The combat is very fast paced and awesome. Great moves, very over the top. Beyond Two Souls, a David Cage game. You know what you get with these kinds of games, right? Lots of QTEs, but amazing graphics. Binary Domain, a game that I find a very underrated third-person shooter. In this game you shoot a lot of robots. Great boss fights as well. Bionic Commando, a game that I didn't enjoy as much. This is a reboot of the classic NES video game, I think. The swinging, which is the biggest point of this game, was kinda crappy, so I didn't like this game as much. Now comes the Bioshock series with Bioshock 2 and also Bioshock Infinite. These are great first-person shooters. I don't own Bioshock, the original, in a case because this one includes it. Great games. My favorite is Infinite, but the first one was awesome as well. Blades of Time, some sort of hack and slash adventure kind of game with time manipulation mechanics. It was pretty fun actually. BlazBlue Continuum Shift Extend. This is the limited edition, that's why the cover art is different. This is a very good 2D fighting game. It's from the same guys that made Guilty Gear series, I think. It's a great fighting game. Blazing Angels 2, Secret Missions of World War II. This is another flight game. This is kinda old, but it still holds up pretty well, I think. The Blob 2, this is a kid-friendly game, very colorful. Bloodbath, this is a terrible, terrible game. Probably the worst on PS3 I played. The controls are awful, very little content. Blood Drive. This game wasn't perfect, but still it was enjoyable. This is like a Twisted Metal kind of game. Cars shooting each other and such. There's also zombies to run over. It's fun, but not amazing. Bloodstone 007. This is a James Bond game, obviously, and it's a third-person cover-based shooter, very similar to Uncharted, but obviously not as great. Even though the set pieces are very, very good. My favorite James Bond game on PS3. The next is Blur. This is an arcade racing game. It's similar to Mario Kart, but with real cars. As you can see from the cover, there's a Ford GT and a BMW. There are power-ups. It's a very fun game. The next pile of games starts with Borderlands Triple Pack, which includes Borderlands, Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel with also DLC. Bourne's Conspiracy. This is an action title, action-adventure title. It has hand-to-hand combat, but also a lot of shooting and also driving sections. This is a very old game, so it feels kinda dated now. This is Brothers in Arms, Hell's Highway. This is a military first-person shooter, but it's more on the realistic side. You have to strategize, flank the enemy and such. It's not like Call of Duty or anything like that. Brutal Legend, a heavy metal game. I thought this game would be more like a beat 'em up or hack and slash, but in the end it adds some real-time strategy things that I didn't enjoy as much. Great soundtrack though. Bulletstorm, a very over-the-top first-person shooter. This was very fun. The Bureau, XCOM Declassified. This is a third-person shooter. It controls very similar to the Mass Effect series. And this is, by the way, a sleeve that it's supposed to censor parts of the cover. Very cool. Burnout Paradise. This is an arcade racer, obviously, very crazy, open world. It was very fun then, and it's still very fun today. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Also Modern Warfare 2. And Black Ops. I'm not the biggest Call of Duty fan, that's why I only have 3 instead of the 100 or something that there are out there. But they're fun, actually. Call of Juarez, Bound in Blood. This is another first-person shooter, this one set in the Wild West. Very fun. You get to control both of the characters on the cover. Each one controls slightly different. Captain America, Super Soldier. This is a movie tie-in, but as movie tie-ins go, this was actually pretty fun. That's not so usual. Castlevania Lords of Shadow and Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. They're both awesome hack and slash kind of games. Great graphics, great art style. I recommend them both. The first one is better though. Catherine, a very weird game. It mixes like some social aspects, and also it's also a puzzle game about climbing towers. The story is great, but it's very, very weird. Ghostbusters, the video game. This is a great third-person shooter. It really makes you feel like a Ghostbuster. If you like the original movies, you should have this. Child of Eden, this is some sort of on-rail shooter, but it really controls like Res. It looks great on 3D, but it's not. I prefer more typical on-rail shooters. Civilization Revolution. I'm not so much fan of strategy games, but I prefer the turn-based ones, and this one is. It's very colorful. Conan, a forgotten hack and slash from the early era in PS3. It was very fun. More people should know about this game. Another oldie in the PS3 collection, Condemned 2. This is a horror game, as you can tell already by the cover. It's in first person. It's very interesting, very, very good. A little dated maybe. It's been a while since I played it. Crysis 2. This is the second one in the series. I also have Crysis 3, but that one was given for free on PS Plus. So I have it not physically. And the last from the pile are also first-person shooters. The Darkness and The Darkness 2. I like both games, but for different reasons. The first one was more open-ended, it had more freedom for you to do stuff. And the second one, I prefer the action in this one. It's a lot of fun, using your powers in the second. The next pile of games starts with Dark Sector, another forgotten third-person shooter. It's actually quite fun. A little too brown though. Too brown. Darksiders and also Darksiders 2. I enjoy both of those games, but the second one especially. I wish there would be a sequel to them. Very fun, mixing action with puzzles and platforming. Dark Souls. The Souls games are known for how hard they are. What I actually enjoy the most is the immersion they have. The art style is also amazing. Dark Void, a mediocre third-person shooter, but you get to fly in a jetpack, which is always awesome. Dead Island, Game of the Year edition. I really enjoyed the combat in this game. You could break the bones of the zombies and cut them to pieces. It was gory, but it was fun. Deadly Premonition, the director's cut. Some people consider this game to be so bad it's good. I think it's so good it's good. It's a very ambitious game and give them props for that. Dead Rising 2, a very fun game and also quite hard as well. Lots of creativity with the weapons, as you can see in the cover. Dead Space 1 and Dead Space 2. They're horror games, third-person shooters. The action is great in both. There's also some scares to be had. Dead to Rights Retribution. I really enjoyed the Dead to Rights game in the PS2, so I was excited for this game, but it kinda let me down. It's fun, but not as fun. Maybe it's nostalgia. Deception 4, Blood Ties. This is a game where you have to make your enemies fall into traps you set yourself. It can be funny at times, but it's actually a little frustrating to play. Demon's Souls, the original Souls game. This was a PlayStation exclusive. Like Dark Souls, but not open world. Destroy All Humans, just like with the Dead to Rights game. I was a fan of the PS2 games, but this one isn't as great. It's very buggy and graphics aren't that good. And PS2 again, with Devil May Cry HD Collection. These are the games that came from the PS2, but in HD. Devil May Cry 3 is still my favorite hack and slash ever. Dirt 3, the complete edition. This is Dirt 3, but with all the DLC, which is great because it has a ton of classic rally cars, which I really enjoy. The Gymkhana missions, I didn't enjoy as much. Next comes the Disgaea series with Disgaea 4 and also Disgaea D2. I don't have Disgaea 3 because I own it for the beta. These are great Japanese strategy RPGs. Tactical RPGs, they call them sometimes. They are very crazy. They have so many mechanics and strategies you can use. It's amazing. And the stories are quite funny as well. Dishonored, the original, it's a great stealth game. I love the art style in this one. The second one came out recently, but I haven't picked it up yet. I will though. Doom 3 BFG edition. This also has a sleeve cover. This is a very great first-person shooter. It was back in the day, and this also included Doom 1 and Doom 2. So if you like the Doom series, pick it up. Dragon's Crown. I like to call this game Golden Axe 2013. This is a beat 'em up with a great art style. It was very fun, especially multiplayer. It's also very similar to Dungeons and Dragons Chronicles of Mystara. Very, very fun. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, or Arisen. This is another RPG. The combat in here was amazing. You could actually climb on top of those giant monsters you fight against. The last pile starts with Drakengard 3, a game that I love and hate at the same time. This had great combat, amazing soundtrack, but the frame rate is completely awful. Driver San Francisco. I was also a fan of the Driver game since the first one on PS1, and this one I also enjoy a lot. It's very original, a little crazy. Dynasty Warriors 7 and Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires. I love Dynasty Warrior games, and I have a lot of them, so you'll keep seeing them. And I wasn't lying, because the next are Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 and Dynasty Warriors Gundam Reborn. The last one is a PlayStation exclusive. These are very fun Dynasty Warriors games. I'm not that big of a fan of the Gundam series, but they're fighting robots, which is also always cool. Earth Defense Force, insert Armageddon. This is a very fun third-person shooter. You can destroy buildings. You are surrounded by 100 enemies, which are giant bugs and other creatures. Very, very fun. Not the best Earth Defense Force game, but it's very good. Very fun. It led The Return of Mad Hazard. This is a third-person shooter. It likes to make fun of other games and such, and it shouldn't, because it's not that great of a game. The shooting is kinda clunky. El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron. This is a very trippy game in its visuals and its story and such, but I enjoy it quite a bit. It's a hack and slash, but it also mixes it with some platforming. The art style is very, very trippy. Enslaved. This is a game that comes up in all of the underrated game lists, and I can see why, but at the same time, if everyone loves it, why it's underrated. It's a great game. I like the story, very colorful. Epic Mickey, The Power of Two. This was pretty fun in co-op. It's kid friendly, so you can bring your nephews or something to play with you. And it's fun for adults as well. Eternal Sonata. Some people hated this game, others liked it a lot. I'm more in the second category. I thought the art style was very cute. The story, it was original, it was fun. Everybody's Golf World Tour. It was also called Hot Shots Golf Out of Bounds. It's Everybody's Golf, which is always fun. EX Troopers. This is another Japanese import. This is some sort of Lost Planet spin-off, but this is more flashy and light-hearted. It's not as realistic. These aren't really from the same series, but whatever. Formula 1 Championship Edition and Formula 1 2013. It's surprising to say that Formula 1 Championship Edition actually holds up very well even today. And this one, I bought it because it included some F1 classic cars. They're both fun games, if you like the Formula 1 and such. Fairy Fencer F, and Japanese RPG from NIS. Usually NIS RPGs are very... they don't take themselves very seriously. This is a more serious one, and it's also one of the best they made, I think. Very, very good. And the last for today will be Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. These are great RPGs. The shooting isn't as good, but whatever. The thing with Bethesda games on PS3 are that they didn't run as well as in other platforms, but in any case, they're enjoyable. Okay, this is it for the first video. We've barely started with the games that start with an F, so there's plenty much more to come. Also, if you want to recommend me some game that I don't own yet, please write a comment below. Have a nice day.